I'm going to show you how I can buy anything I want every single month and never run out of money, and more importantly, how you can too. Okay, so I might be being a little bit over dramatic, but let's say you have got £40,000, and if you don't, this video is still relevant to you. Now the thing is, what can you buy with £40,000? Maybe you can have a car. Maybe you can have a very expensive vacation. Maybe you end up going and climbing Mount Vincent. Literally 40k to go to Antarctica and climb a mountain. I know. What else can we do? We can go to university, and maybe if you've got kids, you could pay off their uni fee. Maybe you can go on some cool experiences. If you really want, you can go out and get a beautiful wedding for the first one, and then maybe 40 grand on the second and third together. Or indeed, you could go fly first class. How cool would that be? All the way to Dubai. Now, I am not saying that any of these are wrong. All of these, though, are liabilities. Now, liabilities are great. Go out there and travel the world. Go to university. Eat out in fine restaurants. Buy a nice house. Go first class every now and then. Pay for your kids' uni fees. Whatever it is. But that's not how the rich live. Now, here's something called earned and passive income streams. The way that the rich live, and I would consider myself in here, I wouldn't consider myself rich as such, but certainly a rich mindset, all of my earned income goes into assets. And then all of my assets pay me passive income. And then this passive income goes into liabilities. Or if you really want to get to the top level, your passive income can be split into going back into earned income and your passive liabilities. Now, hopefully that makes sense, but let me give you some examples and how, with a little bit of patience, you can benefit from delayed or deferred gratification and never worry about money again. So it's not quite as good as getting unlimited liabilities, but let me give you a direct example, worked example. Let's say you've got that 40 grand. And we're going to put it into my personal favourite asset class, stocks, no property, obviously. Oh yeah. Got the best property in the world. Here we go. They're getting better, aren't they? They're getting better. So let's say with this one, we put in 30,000 for the deposit, and then we put in a further £10,000 for fees such as stamp duty, a bit of a tart-up refurbishment. That is going to get you £120,000 property, 120,000, 25% deposit, 75% debt. Now this is where your deferred or delayed gratification comes into it. So you could go to Mount Vincent, you could go and fly private to Dubai, you could go and pay for university fees, you could go and pay for your first wedding or your second wedding or your third wedding or whatever it is, or you can be a bit patient. Now, this is really important because what this is likely to bring, this property, is around £200 to £250 per calendar month. Now, this might not sound too exciting here, but I really think it is, and I'm going to show you why. The £250 a month can be leveraged into a loan or something like that, or a lease, and it can usually get you between £20,000 to £25,000 worth of assets. So, is it as exciting as paying for the 40 grand out there? No, of course not. but it can pay for around half of that. So let's go through those same examples. Yes, it can't pay for university, but it could pay for the liability of university forever. My student fees of like 30 odd grand, 40 grand are more like £100 a month. This would pay for that. If you think about the car expense, what can you lease for £250 a month? And if you've got this car, which I am terrible at drawing. Let's give this a go. I'm pretty impressed with that, to be honest. £250 a month. You can get a decent car with that. Maybe you could get a, I don't know, a Fiat of some kind on there. I've been told a Fiat 500, which, let's face it, is basically the same engine as a Ferrari, if you need a bit of bragging rights there. So you could get a car out of that. With £250 a month, you can get up to a £20,000 holiday. Okay, now the cool thing is, whatever liability you want, I'd say the car's the most logical one. Maybe you could get a private jet if you really want to go out there. If you only got 40 grand, probably don't get the private jet, right? But my point is, in this scenario, you got to keep the car, okay? This Fiat here. Happy days. But you also get to keep the investment. Now, this is the thing that gets really cool, because over time, this property here is going to give you 250 a month, and eventually it will give you 300 a month. And 10 years from now, there's no reason it couldn't be £800 a month profit. But more importantly, you're also, bear in mind, we remember it's worth 120 grand. If we conservatively, and I'll grab the calculator for this, if at 5%, which long-term average capital growth is 7.9%, but if we said at 5% for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we've got £153, sorry, property. So 153 grand property, which means we've made another £33,000 added to our net worth. So it goes back to what we were saying. Is it the same as being able to pay $40,000 today? No, it's really not. But it is the same as paying £20,000 for something, but you get to keep the original $40,000. You haven't lost it. It's in an investment, passive income producing asset that is increasing in value over time. And so ultimately, you need to decide what you're going to do with your money. And by the way, I'm talking at 40,000, but what if you only had 1,000? Well, the same premise is there. If you wanted to invest in property, you could put £1,000 into crowdfunding, for example, where you own a very small percentage of the house. But ultimately, if you can be patient for 5 years with your earned income, and instead of spending it on weekends, on drinks, on nights out, whatever it is, and instead you planted it in assets that produced the cash flow that went into this passive investment stream here, then you can spend whatever you want every single month. Car, holidays, climbing, vacations, as Alex would say, flying private, anything else you want, every single month. Do you know the cool thing about spending money on liabilities is on the 30th of each month, I go to sleep and I wake up rich again. And there's no reason you can't too. I hope that's been valuable. If you want more videos around finance and how it actually makes sense, whether that's personal finance or investment finance, let me know in the comments. If you did get value, it helps me out tremendously if you lightly destroy the like button. And if you're new to the channel and you want to find out more about property investment and becoming financially free, then hit the subscribe and the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.